What's happening? JC Agajanian here, broker associate with the Whissel Realty Group, bringing you your October 2022 monthly market update. Can you believe this year is almost out? Well, let's get into it. Today, we are doing a little bit more than we typically do. What we always do is bring you the information that the San Diego Association of Realtors presents to us, breaking down all the various data points each month, and then we compare them with the same month last year. We're going to do that today, but we're also going to take a moment to zoom out a little bit and take a look at the economy as a whole, how it's affecting our market, and more importantly, what's happening with inflation. So let's get into it. The first few data points are going to tell you what you kind of already know. The market has slowed, right? So the amount of new listings coming on the market is down compared to this time last year to the tune of 26%. In addition, the amount of properties going off the market or going pending with an accepted offer are down as well, even more so though, to the tune of 44%. So these two bits of information help you understand why we actually have a growing inventory, which is good because we need inventory desperately. We needed it desperately, and believe it or not, we still do, and we'll get to that in a moment. The amount of closed transactions is down as well. So all these data points are saying, yeah, we know the market slowed. It's all over the news and everywhere. Okay, hang tight. What's interesting is we actually have an increase in the average price to $785 here in San Diego, and that's combining both single-family homes and condos and townhomes, attached living. So the next piece of information we're going to look at is the difference between what people ask for and what they actually get. And we call it a list to sales price ratio. So that number is down. So last year, people were getting over 100% of their asking price at 102%. This year, it's down about 95%. So people are not wanting to pay at or over asking price like they were as recently as probably 6 months ago, and certainly the last year and year before, etc. Again, this is probably not news to you. So the other bit of information, and we're building up to a surprise here, but hold on for me. The other bit of information we're going to look at is the amount of time it takes to sell a home. So we call it days on market, or DOM. So that's up naturally, but it's only up to an average of 33 days, and that's up 50%. So it still does not take a super long period of time to sell a home in San Diego County. But here's the kicker. This is what we've been waiting for. It's called month supply of inventory. And the way I always explain this is if you picture a grocery store shelf full of cereal boxes and someone comes along and fills it up, how long will it take to sell down to zero without adding one more cereal box or one more home, right? That number is up, but it's only up to just under 2 months at 1.7 months supply of inventory, from last year at just under a month at 0.9 months. Now, the neutral or more of an average market is going to be 4 to 6 months supply of inventory. So we are still in a severe shortage of inventory when it comes to houses to choose from for buyers who are actively seeking homes. So that's the general consensus. We still have, we've got a growing inventory, which is good. We actually need more inventory. The goal here isn't to strive for an equilibrium because usually housing markets don't really stay in that middle peak. They are usually passing through that 4 to 6 month range, going towards a buyer's market where there's way more inventory, or going down the opposite direction into a seller's market where there's a lot of less inventory. So we're not necessarily striving for that equilibrium part, but we do need more homes and we're getting them. So that's good news. Zooming out a little bit, we're in Q4 now, and we just saw our first big real decrease in CPI, both on the headline and the core numbers. So basically, when talking about inflation as a whole and in our economy, what the Fed has been doing with these rate hikes is working. And you know what? They're likely going to begin to reduce the amount that they're actually increasing at each of their meetings. And again, that's the Fed funds rate, which is different than the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. Those mortgage rates are largely influenced by the 10-year Treasury note. It's the bond market. It's a whole different conversation. I'd be happy to have that with you if you're really interested. But the point is, we are likely going to see more positive information coming in the near future, right? So the trends are probably going to continue, and the mortgage experts that we follow are actually calling for the 30-year rate to fall back into the fours again within months, probably even in Q1 of 2023. I know most people think this is shocking, but if you follow the logic and if you follow what the Fed is doing and the effects that it's taking on the inflation, and as you know, or maybe you don't, but I will tell you, rates often and most of the time follow inflation, right? So if what they're doing is working and they're going to be able to begin easing what they're doing because it is having effect, then this prediction by some of the top mortgage experts in the world could very well come true. So in general, what are we thinking? Well, the pressure is off if you're a buyer, right? You can have a little more time to think about what you want to do, and if you really want to race into the contract by writing an offer, or if you want to sleep on it and decide if it's the right home for you. This was really not an option as recently as a few months ago for you, okay? It's a fun time to be a buyer again, and it wasn't fun to be a buyer for a long time. The rates were amazing, and that part was fun, but going through the process was difficult. So whether you are needing to sell and take advantage of all the equity you've accrued through this insane market that we've just had, and then move into something different, or maybe move out of town, whatever you're going to do, you're in a position where you also need to buy. You still have those great appreciation equity locked in, and you're going to still have those funds available to you when you sell. We haven't seen a huge drop in values here in San Diego County, so you can take advantage of that. And if you're buying, like I said, it is fun again. And regardless of what situation you're in, we are likely going to see refinance opportunities if you're buying now in the near future. And even if things don't pan out like we're thinking they will, what we often see almost reliably every single 4 years, regardless of whether the president is wearing blue or red, they always want to make the economy look as great as possible leading into elections. So we can bank on artificially low rates moving into the election cycle 2 years from now. So either way, we're looking at refinance opportunities, and we're looking at great inventory options for buyers to choose from right now. As much of the doom and gloom you may hear in the news, we're going against that right now, and we got a positive spin on it. If you want to talk about any of this more, have questions for me about the market, about buying, about some of the intriguing ways we have to avoid taking a 6.5%, 7% rate right now, because we've got some great options for you to sidestep that and still get that home that you're looking at, let me know. I'd love to chat with you. And you can hit the link right here. Talk to you soon.